Marriage is going to challenge you and stretch you in ways that only marriage can. I'm going to say it again. A marriage, a commitment, a covenant is going to challenge you and stretch you in ways that only a marriage can. Notice I didn't say long-term relationship. Notice I didn't just say dating or relationship. Marriage still has some components that can only happen inside of marriage to really help you uncover and discover parts of you that you didn't even know existed. So if we're honest, I don't think that most people get married with intentions on ending that marriage in divorce. Like there's not people going into that commitment with that type of ending in mind. So when you're going through a divorce, you're going through something that you couldn't foresee or even prepare yourself for, but you have to go through that process, right? And it's not the same, right? Being married for 1 year is totally different from being married for 5. Being married for 5 is totally different than being married for 15. So whether you are married for 1 year, 5 years, 15 years, if you fought for that marriage and you really wanted it to work, hear me, you gave of yourself for that 1 year, 5 years, or 15 years. And now you have to walk into a new reality process, right? Of what life looks like now outside of being who you used to be, outside of being committed to the people and the things that you were committed to in that, right? It's a whole new reality. I really think that going through a divorce is probably one of the most difficult things and challenging things that somebody can go through, because you have to force yourself, program yourself to operate in this new reality outside of what you just walked away from, a commitment that you just got out of. And it can come with some challenges. You got to deal with shame. You got to deal with regret. You got to deal with guilt. You got to deal with what you could have done better. You got to deal with all of these different things as you're navigating this new reality. Me still believing in marriage and me being an advocate for marriage, I found myself, right, in conversations where I'm talking about it, and it's like, well, if marriage is so good, then what happened with yours? Why it didn't work? And I'm not going into details, but the reality of it is that just because it didn't work for us doesn't mean that it doesn't work at all, right? And I think that we got to be very careful with the way that we see and the mindset that we adopt towards relationships and marriage, because we'll oftentimes write the whole thing off when we have one that doesn't work. This is the same thing in long-term relationships. It's not just marriage. So here's the truth. Even though it ended in divorce, it still made me a better man. You cannot take away from what contributed to you in that season of your life. You cannot take away what you were exposed to in that season of your life. Now, listen, if you had a horrible marriage, it was toxic and things of that nature, I can't speak on that. Marriage is going to challenge you and stretch you in ways that only marriage can. I'm going to say it again. A marriage, a commitment, a covenant is going to challenge you and stretch you in ways that only a marriage can. Notice I didn't say long-term relationship. Notice I didn't just say dating or relationship. Marriage still has some components that can only happen inside of marriage to really help you uncover and discover parts of you that you didn't even know existed. So as I said at the beginning, it's unforeseen. So you really can't prepare for it. Like, you can only operate in that moment. And that's the process. And we all got to go through that process. If you have to walk through a divorce, if you have to walk through separation, if you have to walk away from a long-term relationship, I add that in there. They don't prepare you for the mental and emotional toll that it has on you, right? They don't prepare you for the process. You can only endure it, right? And for me, therapy was instrumental in that season. Rediscovery, reframing, forgiveness are really tools that you're going to have to utilize as well, because I don't want you to see it as a bad thing. And I don't want you to rule out that part of your life. That part of your life contributed to you in ways that it only could. I'll be honest, I speak very vague and surface level on how I speak about that relationship in marriage, because it's out of respect. It's out of respect that uh, we had what we had and it resulted in what it resulted in. But I still feel obligated to a certain extent to protect it. I think it's disrespectful when somebody gets on and just start airing everything about a previous marriage or relationship. I'm just not built like that. But I wanted to share this, man, because I honestly believe that there needs to be more conversations around this. This is a reality that people are going through, walking through. There's people that's depressed and down and in shame and on the break of, just self-sabotage and all kinds of things just walking through this. So I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about it, man, because this is a part of the healing process, right? Coming out of the dark, getting into the light, and speaking about those things that you once had shame about, that you once were down about. So I'll end with this. If you are divorced or going through that process now, I really pray that you don't give up on marriage or covenant or commitment, partnership, right? I really don't. But I will say this: if you come to that conclusion, let it come from a place of healing and peace. That's all I say. If you come to that conclusion, let it come from a place of healing and peace. Because everybody not going to want to get married again. I get it. But don't let it come from a broken place, a wounded place. Let it come from a place of healing and peace. Hope that this encouraged you. I love you. Take care. Shalom.